Hello everybody, we are here with another chess video. This one might be a bit longer, and this time I'm not going to tell you the outcome, although you might be able to figure it out somehow. Okay, we're on the review tab and we should be on the analysis tab. Okay, so they start with e4. This is another French defense game. So this time it's an advanced variation. I'll go quickly over this. If you don't know about the French defense, basically the opponent has like three responses: advance, defend this pawn, or take my pawn. That's called the exchange. Also, could also move a knight or move a bishop. There's lots of ways they could defend this pawn. Although those are pretty unconventional. Most of the time people go with the advanced variation. Okay. The engine didn't like that queen move. My idea was to attack this, but really it's better to only move this queen once they've already moved their bishop. If you're trying to do something like that. Okay, take. Yeah, normally people don't take with the queen here because you can follow up with your bishop and you're developing a piece while also attacking one of theirs, which is always really good in the opening because it gives you tempo because they have to react rather than develop their own pieces. That move the engine didn't like, but obviously they're going for my g7 pawn. And my move also wasn't liked. The engine wanted me to take this, but I was worried that it wouldn't lead to anything and then this situation would get out of hand. Like if, say, for example, if my bishop or queen got stuck over here and I needed to move them back, but I also needed to defend this square, it wasn't something I was comfortable with. So, and then they move the knight, which stops me from taking here. So we move our knight. This was a pretty terrible move because they can just take with this bishop. It's undefended. That's the problem with moving this g-pawn, especially when they take this. So really it would have been better off putting the knight there. But yeah, I didn't see this bishop attack. Well, I was sort of narrow-minded at that moment. But luckily they didn't see it either. So we move the knight, get that out of there. And yeah, sorry, I should say as well, the idea in a French defense in the advanced variation, when they have this pawn blocking here, you want to move the knight there or there, so that you can move it there. Because it's there and it's pretty strong if it's there, because it's usually defended by at least this pawn. And yeah, obviously, not in normal openings you want the knight on f6, but since it's blocked, you have to do like a two-move maneuver, which isn't too bad. But yeah. So they move the queen here. Obviously they're trying to get some like checkmating thing going on, pretty transparent if I do say so myself. I castle, I'm not afraid of that. This was a major blunder, but I missed it. So the reason this was a blunder is actually a little bit surprising. So if you didn't see it, the bishop here traps the enemy queen. See, that's the danger with putting a queen in between all of my pieces, So obviously the queen can't go back because it's attacked by the bishop. These squares are defended by the king. And they can't take the bishop because it's defended by the knight. Okay, so, but I didn't see that, I don't think. Yeah, I went queen d8 instead, with a similar idea of trying to get rid of this queen. So queen d8, and then, that helps my rook's development too. Obviously, my bishop and knight and other rook aren't particularly developed yet, but the same can apply to my opponent. So they trade knights there, right? Yeah, probably wise on their end. We go this way instead of that way because we want this bishop to not be completely trapped. If we went that way, then our bishop would be completely trapped. And already you can see with how my pawn structure is looking that their bishop is going to have a really hard time because it can't get onto this diagonal. It can't pierce through this diagonal. It can pierce through this diagonal, but we're going to close that very soon. Okay, so knight, you know, we want to develop the knights. Yeah, this was a decision where I was like, I don't remember what my logic was exactly. Oh, yeah, because Dark Square Bishop is going to be powerful when they have, you know, this attack, and, you know, the fact that all of my pawns are on light squares. So, yeah, we traded Dark Square Bishops. And yeah, the engine did like that for me. Right, anyway. So, yeah, we're slightly ahead at this point. God, this is going to be a longer video at this rate. Okay, so we move the knight here, and the logic there is we can boot this bishop out and potentially go here for an attack. But yeah, okay, so they move the bishop there. I moved that bishop there. This was me once again thinking I want to make their bishop's life as difficult as possible, but really moving here would have been better because we would have been targeting this, and it would be a free pawn. They wouldn't have any way of defending it. Oh wait, yeah, they could actually just move the pawn forward, but I'm guessing that would weaken their position. Oh, actually, yeah, sorry, it is a fork, so they would lose a pawn either way. Okay, so they move a knight, we move the bishop. So basically, right now, I'm just trying to make sure that their pieces are having a hard time getting anywhere. These squares are all well defended, and this one too. So, like, they're basically just trying to limit the movement of their pieces. Okay, so rook there. Then I move my rook. This was kind of a mediocre move. I kind of thought so at the time as well. But I just wanted to, like, increase my overall presence, I guess. You know, get more pieces into the equation. They do the same. That was probably just a copycat move if I could be so bold. And this was kind of like a very transparent bait. I mean, you can see this coming a mile away, right? Take, and then there's a fork. But obviously they didn't take that because it was kind of obvious, which is probably why the engine doesn't like it. So instead they moved their bishop. And now we move this pawn. So that was one good thing about moving this bishop, is that it allowed me to move this pawn, which I wanted to do to further screw over this bishop and this knight as well. Then they move the knight there because they've clearly realized that's the only way they're going to get the knight out. I take, because I don't want... I quite like the fact that their pieces are all useless at the moment, so... And then this is where things get kind of dicey. When the trades are finally happening and the position's kind of transforming a lot. And as you can see now, my advantage is significantly lower. But then that was bizarre. What was that about? Oh, I see. Yeah, they can take. Okay, so yeah. Kind of bad trade on their end, because now I'm +1 and the engine likes my position a lot more. But at the time I was kind of thinking this is kind of close, so I do have to be very careful with how I approach it. But yeah, here's where we're starting to get our king involved in the action and just pushing all of our pawns. This is a safe push to make. The engine preferred that I go here first, but this is safe. That would be bad, you know, because they could take this. But this pawn is safe because take, you know, it's fine. But yeah, what ends up happening is they take, then I take, and then they win a pawn, which isn't good for us. So we have to move our king this way. Or we can retreat, but it would be a bad move to retreat at this stage. Because we need our king to be active. So this is kind of where I'm just trying to, you know, gain control. But yeah, I have lost a couple of pawns at this point. But it's okay, because we've made it back, and then... Yeah, this was kind of cheeky. This was me being like, oh, I can you know, checkmate them with the rook there. But because I was thinking, oh, if they go here, then I can take. So what's the problem, right? But of course they can go there. And now my king is in a slightly worse position than it was before, probably. Okay. That move kind of lame. So this is where things start getting a bit spicy. Yeah, and I realised that I can take this and then that removes this rook's defender. And I'm also attacking another pawn, so things aren't looking good for the opponent. And then we finish them off with some stuff. Spoilers, we do win this one. Shocking, I know, because it says I'm plus 57. But yeah, so we just start pushing this pawn, and this is where they are officially screwed, because this pawn is going to advance, this rook is blocking this. Even if they somehow blocked this rook's line of attack, because there's no way they're stopping this pawn from promoting at this point, because this rook is blocking this rook from going to defend. So somehow, let's say they moved here earlier and then moved there, then we take, then they take, then we still have a queen. So it's pretty lost for them at this point. Okay, so they try and put me in check, but that actually, I mean, it helps me because now I'm going to have checkmate. They move a pawn and then queen, and then that's checkmate. I mean, I would have had checkmate either way, but my point is, if they had moved the rook there or whatever, then it would have just been checkmate still. So yeah, that was it. Kind of a stomp, but you know, I have been doing a lot of losses. I felt like throwing in a stomp. Yeah, so I think I managed to play to the strengths of my pawn structure well for the most part, and the endgame was kind of sloppy. Kind of time troubles, I'll blame for that. But yeah, and we missed this. Would have been cool if we had got that. That would have pretty much just ended the game immediately. But yeah, overall I did pretty decently, and I won the game. So there we go. Farewell.